Mr. Denby is hands down the climate culture classroom management guru because he's been here for forever, Ari. Okay, he just told you 31 years. That's a great amount of time. And he's not. And here's the thing: you would never know, right? Like with the enthusiasm that he has, like for teaching. If you've ever been lucky enough to have him come into your classroom, he just loves what he does, and so we like to have him work with you. And again, I called Sherman Friday. I was like, hey, Sherman, the teachers on classroom management, like I can do it, and I was good at it. I mean, better than good. I was really good at it. But you're fantastic. Would you mind coming in? Can you come in? Do you have time? And he's like, of course, I'll come in. So I'm really thankful that he was able to do that, and especially like for you, right? Like I've seen what he can do. I know what he can do. But I think for you to see it firsthand and to get some ideas and tips and tricks from him is going to benefit all of you. So I would suggest, like as he's doing things, because he's going to move quickly, right? Jot down some notes. Katie and I will be jotting down notes as well to kind of help you remember, like, here's the things that he did, here's something I like that I think will work in my classroom, here's something that I think will work with a particular student, whatever that is. Yep, good?
Yep.
Okay, so, and just a heads up, we are going to be recording this. It is facing this way. This is Mary Lennon. She is in charge of, I know we didn't introduce her earlier, she was here, but she's in charge of our social media stuff. So she is going to be recording, so just so you know, she might turn the camera because Sherman will be moving. I know he moves around all over the place, so if she turns the camera, just know that she's really just focusing on him, like to try to make sure that we get what he's doing so that if people miss, like there are people missing today, we can have them see it with him. I know it's not touched, so I'll touch back there. You tell me which one you want, because I know what this is, which one doesn't belong. I know.
All right. Okay. So, good morning.
Good morning.
And so we're gonna move around. We're gonna move. Let me try to. Okay. Let me get this.
Yeah. You tell me which.
All right. So the one thing it caught me by surprise, but not off guard, was the different level of teachers that we have in here. So I heard kindergarten, pre-K.
Yes.
Kindergarten, first, second. Okay, so what I'm going to try to do is give you some things also that you can use down at lower level that will be able to help you engage your students more. This whole piece that I'm doing is called Total Participatory Techniques. So everything that we do is to maximize student engagement, which, when it is done correctly, it boosts your number in your evaluation. You want your students to be able to take hold of the lesson, and you want them to be able to pretty much run the lesson. And when they can do that, it makes you look that much better in the classroom. It makes your teaching go by much, much easier. And there's one thing that we do as teachers, and oftentimes we don't really trust the kids to do something. They're going to make a mess. They're going to break something. It's going to happen anyway. But when you give certain things to students, they learn to take ownership of it. They are more proud of it when they get to do it, and they feel a greater sense of that they're helping out, they belong, and they want to do those things, and then you're less likely to have behavior problems because they're going to be engaged and worried about doing the job that you gave them to do. So, first thing we're going to do, this one's called Which One Doesn't Belong? Now, this one, give me this photo right here, please, first. Oh, you clicked it? Does it blow it up?
It should. Oh, it just does all different ones.
Oh, it took me to the other ones, okay. All right, can you?
So the back one should bring you back to where you
Yeah,
were.
good, can you take me back to that one?
There you go.
All right, so we'll just go with this one right here. So this is what I want you to do. In this, there is no wrong answer. So what you're gonna do is you'll have your students look at this. I do this with kids all the time when I go into a classroom just to get them talking, to bring that tension level down a bit. So look at this. Look at this picture right here. Think to yourself, which one doesn't belong? Don't say anything yet.
No, Brandon.
5,
Yeah, Brandon.
4,
I don't know what the neutral color
3,
is. I thought the neutral color was-
2. Clap once if you hear me. Clap once if you hear me. Touch your forehead if you hear me. So that's another thing that I do in the classroom. It works with the big kids, it works with the small kids. And another thing, if you don't want to clap, snap. Some kids, I don't know how. Well then just give me a little light clap. And the reason why I do that is because I don't want to, hey, everybody! You don't want to do that. That gets old after a while, and then your kids will start to mock you. But they always fall in line, but I never raise my voice when I clap once if you hear me. I always talk very low. Somebody hears it, and then they're going to clap. And then, wait a minute, they're clapping. So then they join in, and then clap twice if you hear me. Touch your forehead if you hear me. So that lets me know that they're listening and that they now have given the attention back to me so we can move on with the lesson. All right, I need one from that table, one from that table, one from that table, one from that table, and ma'am, you're gonna have to give your own, all right? Which one doesn't belong, and give a rationale for it, please? Give a rationale for it. Which one doesn't belong? I'm gonna start down here.
Well, we all had different opinions, but okay, she went with the square bagel. So I was looking at the mug, okay, because it's all of them are bread. Right here, she said that the bagel, the square bagel, because everything is circled, and that was the square.
Thank you so very much. This table here, someone?
You go ahead.
You want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead. On the square, let's go.
I was saying I couldn't tell which one doesn't belong because I don't know if it's breakfast foods or circles.
Okay,
So it could be the cup because it's not a breakfast food, but that's a circle.
okay,
And then the bagel, breakfast food, not a circle.
okay.
So I was kind of torn, I'll be honest.
Okay, all right. We can take it, but remember what I said. There are no wrong answers, but it allows you to open the window to see the thought processes of your students. This table here, please.
So we all had sorry, different rationales for all of them, actually. The one I thought of was the one in the bottom corner, the bottom right corner. Yeah, because it doesn't have an opening.
Okay. Okay, thank you. This table here, please.
We said the same things about the mug didn't belong and then the bagel was a square, not a circle.
Okay, all right. And then?
I said the same thing, but I'm just gonna add another one and say that the mug doesn't belong because it's not a type of food.
Okay. Now this table here, yes
Can
ma'am.
I say mine was that the cup doesn't belong because the other ones are brown and beige.
Ah, okay.
I said
I would say it's not
that's
something
not a
unique.
real
Mine was
thing, so.
You said this is not real?
No, the next, the
This
other,
one.
there's no such thing as a square bagel, so it's a figment of your imagination, doesn't belong.
Okay.
Maybe it's a dangerous.
And I mean that.
Now, over here, I think you were the ones, you picked this cookie or whatever this item is here. And see, that was the one that I went with also because everything else has a hole in it.
That was one.
And that was the only one that did not have a hole. I didn't even focus on the square bagel.
Right.
You know, I just, but
The circle.
do you see what you just did? You had many talking points over just a picture, okay? And we will do this often. This is something you can do if you just want to do it as an opening activity in the morning to get your kids thinking about it, get their brains moving a little bit. This is something that doesn't take a whole lot. You go into the site, which one doesn't belong, click on, you can do numbers, you can do pictures, all right? Really quick, I'm going to look at this one right here. This one is kind of tricky, all right? But I got something in mind about this one. There's a missing number here. But if you look at these, there's a common point that we can come to with this particular picture. If you look at all three, look at these three, I'm supposed to ask you which one doesn't belong, but my math brain is kicking in right now. So take a minute and discuss which one doesn't belong. These are timers, they're 1 minute timers. Right? Take a minute and discuss with your table which one doesn't belong. No, you don't even have to use that equation.
Yeah, exactly. I whichever one is not.
The other two, 8 goes into the 216. Well, fine.
I have no idea what you're
Not numbered.
Not if you do something else with it.
That's not it.
I heard what you said, but not if you do something else with it.
They said, just look at this first. So they complete set. So it goes into 216, 200,
If you
let's say
multiply by
times
something times 8, can you get
Nine
those other
times
two numbers?
20 times 7.
So,
She just made it make sense for you? Okay, great.
Teach that.
All right, our timer is done. This time I'm going to swing over here. I'm going to start on this side first. All right, here we go.
Me, I got nothing, so.
You got, you big
Absolutely
goose egg?
nothing. No, I got
Okay,
nothing.
I'm going to go right here.
No.
Nothing?
I was still trying to process it. 1 minute wasn't enough for me.
Okay,
I didn't find the question mark now.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I was trying.
okay, good.
Yeah, so the, you have the 8 in the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
The one, I didn't find the question mark, I ran out of time. but
Yeah, me
the,
too.
the top one, 5 plus 2 plus 1 is 8.
Mm-hmm.
8 obviously is 8, and then the other one, 2 times 1 plus 6 is 8.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah.
All right.
That's a good one.
So what could we put in that box?
I had the corner, but I did not have that one.
62.
62. Okay, 62. Anything else?
3 numbers?
35, 53, whatever.
Okay. All right. So something where, or we could put in maybe 16 divided by 2, 24 divided by 3. All right. And I'm glad you found that because when I looked at it, the first thing I thought, I said, oh, 8. Okay. So, all right. This table here, what did you get?
Well, I just went with 3 numbers,
Three and
and 125 wouldn't go because 8 goes into 216 27 times.
Oh, okay. All right.
I was trying to.
And that's about the extent of my math skills. I'm comfortable with third grade math right now.
I have to I was like Cuban stuff.
My head
All right. Great. Over here, what did we get?
I also got 27, and then I got 15 for 80 to 125, but initially I thought the question mark would be 64. So now I don't.
All right. Now, do you see what you did? You took the question, which was, which one doesn't belong, and you found ways for it to belong. And then you looked for the commonality. You found commonality within the numbers. And guess what? Believe it or not, your students will do the same thing. Even if you're working with little kids, you can do this. They will look at numbers and they will start to play around with them and they will make sense of the numbers. But it's another activity that you can use. This one is called Which One Doesn't Belong?
Can I
Okay.
time out real quick?
Yes, ma'am.
So, because she just asked, this website is called Which One Doesn't Belong, and this specific one is called, what's the name of it?
Incomplete sets.
No, up top, what's the name of the URL?
TalkingMathWithKids.com.
Yep. And then, real quick, Dr. Merriweather's here, so.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Boy, I was gonna say, you just don't move.
Okay.
I'm really excited to see all of you. I know you are new to the crew, so I've sat in your seats, oh my gosh, 34 years ago. New to the crew in education. And I sat in your seat actually 25 years ago coming to Bridgeton. So I have been in Bridgeton. I've been blessed to be in Bridgeton for 25 years. I've been blessed to work with our inquisitor over here and other young ladies and certainly everyone else here for so many years. And I'm really excited for you to be here. I thank you for choosing Bridgeton Public Schools. I know you could have gone anywhere, and I know normally people say that, but it's true nowadays. You could have been anywhere, but you chose Bridgeton, and I'm really, really excited for you to be here. We have all of your supervisors, we have your master teacher, we have Mrs. Linden, who is our Director of Human Resources, Retention and Recruitment, and that is a new position, really solely dedicated to making sure that you have a great experience here at Bridgeton Public Schools. I am always at your disposal. You can call, you can email. I try to get around to the schools as much as humanly possible, but please always feel free to reach out. We really want you to be successful because the more successful you are, the happier our students are, and the more successful our community is. So thank you again for being here. I'm glad I wasn't here because, I'd still be like, let me think what I'm supposed to do. I said, oh boy, but you have an awesome teacher in front of you. So thank you so much. Does anybody have any questions or anything that you would just like to share since you have me here? Great, Bridgeton's doing a good job. I'll take it. Y'all have a great day today.
Thank you, Dr. Merriweather.
You're welcome.
All right. So this was, once again, this is Which One Doesn't Belong, and it was Talking Math. What did I just do? Oh, no. I'm like, wait, something felt wet. I'm like, what was that? Okay, yeah, that happens when we teach, doesn't it? And you keep on moving.
There you go.
It's just like the kid who blows their nose and comes, hey! You get all right, here we go. So the next thing I'm going to do with you, the marker just burst, so we're going to do something else. I passed around to each of you a set of dice. I'm going to ask that you do one thing. There's a reason I'm going to ask it be done. So with your dice, okay, lay a piece of paper down and you're going to roll your dice on the paper. Otherwise, they're going to bounce all over the place. All right, by throwing them on the paper, you will increase the friction and keep them from bouncing all over. Now, we're gonna play a game, this is called Shut the Box. Again, this is something that you can do with students to get them to think in terms of number sense. Now, there's a reason why I started to play this game more and more. I'm very, very sad to say a lot of our students struggle with mental math. Some of us in here are old enough where we've been around long enough to have played board games, and we would roll dice, we would see the numbers, and we knew to count however many spaces that we had to go according to what was on the dice. Anybody know the name of those little dots on the dice? They're called pibs, right? They're called pibs. Now, there's a reason why I'm going through all of this. We learned it naturally because we played board games. The kids now, they scroll. They do not take the time to play board games or play with dice unless somebody's shooting craps, and we don't encourage that. However, there is a skill that you pick up from the dice, and it's called sugatizing. It's a mathematical skill. It's a big word, but all it means is recognizing what you see. So you throw down the dice, you look at the two numbers, I see 3 and I see 5. What number is that? 8, okay? Now, sometimes I watch our kids and they're starting to, when it should be able to be done mentally, right? So we're gonna play this game called Shut the Box. It's gonna increase your mental math, okay? And it'll increase the number sense of students when you do that. I've done it with 8th graders, I've done it with 1st graders. All right, it works. So what you're gonna do for me, when I call on you, you're gonna roll your dice, and you're gonna just tell me what two numbers are there. Now, you can play the dice separately, or you can play the dice together. In order to play them together, what operation do we have to use? Addition, right? Yeah, it's not a trick question. I'm right there with you, okay? So, when you roll your dice, you're going to call out the two numbers that you rolled, and then you're going to tell me what we're going to do. The object of the game is to knock out all 9 numbers. If we knock out all 9, then we shut the box, okay? Now, this is an actual board game. They sell it at Ross. Walmart has it. Target has it. It's a little tiny game, and it has 2 dice in it, and it has little wood pieces that flip up. And when they throw the dice, you flip the pieces down. So if you're able to get all of them down, you shut the box. But, all right, we're gonna have a little fun with this real quick. I'm gonna start over at this table. Maggie, can you roll first, please? What'd you get, Maggie? Say it loud.
9.
What two numbers?
6 and 3.
6 and 3, all right? So Maggie, here's what you can do. You can knock out the 6, you can knock out the 3, you can put them together and knock out the 9. What are we doing?
6 and 3.
You gonna knock out the 6 and 3?
Yep.
Maggie, call on the next person at your table.
Play.
4 and 3.
4 and 3, what are we doing?
7.
Take out the 7. Good. Call out next person, please.
8,
What two numbers did you get?
4 and 4.
4 and 4. Okay, so she's going to take out the 8. All right, next table, go ahead.
2 and 2. So
2.
I'll take the 4.
You're going to take the 4. Okay, we're doing good so far.
4 and 6.
4 and 6. Okay, guess what? That's a strike because both of those are already gone. All right. Now we only get one more roll. If he gets another strike, the game is over.
5.
What two numbers did you get?
Oh, I'm sorry, 6. 5 and 1.
5 and 1. So what would you like to take out?
The 5.
Just the
I'm
5?
sorry. Yeah, just 5 is fine.
No, you can take out both.
Okay, take them.
Take out 5 and 1. All
I'll
right.
let somebody else go.
Here we go.
6,
I'm more
5,
comfortable
and
with those.
1.
All right, you got 5 and 1? So, watch. So, we get a strike, but the next person has to get something that we can knock out. If not, then we're done. Go ahead, we got one more roll.
Okay, so 4 and 3.
4 and 3? 4 and 3. That would be a 7. That's going. 4 is going. 3 is going. All right, this game is done. So we have 2 and 9. If you were playing with an opponent, the opponent would get 11 points. Okay? But we're not going to stop there. Go ahead. I need you to roll. We're going to go ahead and go to round 2.
3 and 2.
3 and 2? What are we doing with it?
We're gonna knock out the 2 and the 3.
Knock out 2 and 3. Okay, next person.
5 and 1.
5 and 1. What are we doing?
5 and 1.
Take out 5 and 1. Good. Next person.
Oh. 5 and 1. So
5
we're
and
taking
1.
out
Well, we can still
6.
take out something.
6.
Take out the 6. Okay, good. Next person.
4 and 1.
4 and 1. What are we doing?
I guess just the 4.
Just the 4. Now, you can do that. If you have just one die, if you roll the 2, you can take it out. As long as you have a number that is available, you can take it out. Took out the 4. Ma'am, go ahead.
6 and 3, I'll take out the 9.
Thank you. Oh, we're looking good. This is getting a little tough. Back over here, first table.
Okay, I got 3 and 4, so I can do the 7.
Take out the 7?
Yes.
Oh, that was a good roll.
Yeah.
All right. Pressure's on.
1 and 1.
All righty.
3 and 5.
Come on now.
You got 12? We didn't check the box. All right, we got one more shot. One more shot. Next table, let's go. You gotta get this box shut.
5 and 2.
5 and 2, what are we doing?
I'll take out 5 and 2.
You got 5 and 2?
3 and 3. So I'll take out the 6.
All right. Next.
6 and 3. I'll take out 9.
2 and 1, I'll take out the 3. Sorry.
1 and 1, so I'll take out the 1. 6 and 1, so I'll take out 7.
6 and 1, I can't do anything.
We just need the 4?
We need the 4 and the 8.
And the 8, yeah.
Serious gambler here.
4 and 2, we take out the 4.
We'll take out the 4. Okay, we're still alive.
Oh, gosh.
No pressure, no pressure. We don't judge.
5 and 3.
Oh! There you go. All right. That couldn't have ended any better. Couldn't have ended any better. All right. Very, very quickly, I want you to just sit and think for a moment. How can you use this in your class? Just take a moment and think.
Good brain break.
All right.
Take a few minutes, especially after, like in our classroom after the math. We have math, then we have lunch, and we have math. We do reading after all that. It's a good time to take a few minutes for a brain break. Like we do something like what doesn't belong. Teacher brings up two pictures, what doesn't belong, and how they're different.
Okay.
And the kids get to come up and point them out and circle on the smart screen.
Okay.
That provides a break, and my co-teacher does a lot of different things.
All right.
Kids are seeming like a little sluggish. She does it's a YouTube video, Panda Yoga.
Okay.
It comes up, plays music, and it does different poses.
Okay.
The kids want to participate, get up and they do the panda poses from standing. It's like yoga. And like they'll stand up and do these different things, including laying on the floor.
Okay.
And the kids really like that, and it breaks them up and wakes them up, and gets them back involved for the next set of reading, and then into writing.
Okay.
That'll lead right into their special.
All right. Thank you. Yes, ma'am?
I would probably put it somewhere in my math block just because we always start with some kind of number fluency for recognizing numbers. So I could probably throw it in there at the beginning because we always do something that's with recognizing numbers, whether it's like slides where they're just subitizing and recognizing the number before I say it, or the TV says it, or we just do different activities at the beginning of the block for number recognition.
Okay.
I could probably throw it in for that.
Excellent. Yes, ma'am?
I would say it's a good team building activity. If you have students who are not getting along or there's a lot of bickering, you can try to encourage more unity that way. But also, I've heard in our school that our 8th graders have like an extra long lunch period, and they're not supposed to be looking on their phones. I think this would be a great activity to try to show them how to do, and maybe they'd be allowed to play in the cafeteria.
Okay. What school are you in? That's okay. All right. Because I've done this with the, let me see, the 8th graders, they've seen it because I've done this with them last year when they were in 7th.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
so they should be familiar with this. And some of them have actually seen the actual small game that I have because I bring that as well.
Okay.
All right? Anyone else with how we can use this in class? All right, good. We're going to turn. Oh, go ahead.
Just that you could use it maybe as a review activity, like if you assign lesson terms to the numbers.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Does it matter like what numbers we're crossing out? I feel like my kids are like by the rule and they'd be like, well, you're not doing it the way you explained it. So like, how would I explain it the right way?
So,
I don't put my foot in my mouth.
all right. So in that, they can always use the numbers that are on the dice. If they roll doubles, then you can just knock out the one, whichever one they rolled the doubles up.
So either the like what the product is or either number that they roll?
Yes.
So they have 3 options? Okay.
Yes, yep. And then you don't have to stop it at 9. If you wish, you can go and you can knock it, take it all the way up to, you can take it up to like 12, 15, maybe even take it up to 20, because you can pull up a number grid on the screen if you're working with little ones. Pull up a number grid on screen, and then use a marker or use the pen inside the screen to have them cross out what's there. If you're worried about the little tiny dice, they have foam dice that don't make noise, and then they have the big ones for the little kids to roll, and they can see the numbers much, much easier. All right? Any questions on this? All righty, thank you. This was called Shut the Box. This was Which One Doesn't Belong, and we're going to take a little turn, and we're going to do something in a little bit of a different direction. I gave you all a white piece of paper. Please find that white piece of paper for me. All right? This next thing that we're going to do,
The line paper or the?
no, the clear one, the clear copy paper. All right? Now, I'm going to give you 3 minutes. 3 minutes. You're going to have to work really, really fast with this. This activity is called a quick draw. Okay? A quick draw. So, what you're going to do, you're going to draw me a picture of something that you did over Christmas break. All right? And then we're going to go and we're going to wind up sharing that. So, you're going to have 3 minutes. Begin now. On my Christmas break, my goddaughter gave me a wonderful gift, and it was called sick. I had all these plans, I had all this stuff lined up. Every day I had something planned, and from Monday until Friday, that whole week, I was in bed sick. Yeah, so nothing, no skiing, no nothing, but I did get to read 3 books. So, that's my nice little pastime. I read The Guardians by John Grisham. I read The Collectors by David Baldacci. And then I'm reading Coaching Conversations, and I can't remember the name of the author, but I'm almost done with it. But that's what I wound up doing with my Christmas break. I'm a lover of reading, all different types, but that's just something that I do. That's what I did over my break. All right? Now, if you don't wish to share out with the group, I'm going to give you an opportunity now. Take 30 seconds or so and share out with the people at your table, if you will. Your colleagues at your table. So just need some person to share out what it was that you did over your Christmas break, which is wonderful drawing skills.
I ain't in bed because I work 7 days a week. You used to be at Shopper. So that's what I did on school days off.
All right, thank you. All right, someone here?
I'll go. All my friends go to karaoke on Sundays at McGillen's, and since I have a job and responsibilities, I can't. But 2 weeks of no responsibilities, so I went to karaoke twice.
Ah, okay.
Did you win a prize? No.
Love the game.
Favorite song?
I did jump around.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's a lock.
Jump around. Wait a minute. I'm trying to think of that. What's
House of Pain?
Yeah, House of Pain. There you go. Yeah, I'm like, wait, hold on. I know that name. I know that name. Good. Yes. All right. Ladies right here.
I watched fireworks on the beach on New Year's with friends.
Oh, okay.
From
What?
the casinos, like they throw up the fireworks on New Year's.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
you
I've
just
never
don't
done
expect
that.
them anywhere.
Okay, well, thank you. That's kind of interesting. Okay. Over here.
She's gonna go first. We didn't get to.
Here's my little picture. I did a Christmas brunch with my family, which we do every year. We have brunch, everybody eats, and then we play games together in our pajamas. It's like my favorite event of the year that we do together as a family. Everybody comes to my house because I'm the cook in the family, and we just have a great day. And it's over by 4 o'clock. And I'm sleeping by 5.
All right. Thank you for that. All right. Now, we're going to, this is again called a quick draw. The reason why I'm calling these things out is because I know the names of all of them, but for you, I would like for you to be able to know the names and say, wait a minute, what did he say that thing was called? So I try to make sure I'm pointing out what it is called, so when you go back and you want to do it in your class, that it's there for you. Okay? We're going to shift. Now, I'm trying to cover all the different subject areas as closely as I can. Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Natalie, we didn't go with your, you drew a picture.
My picture?
Yeah. You
I just wanted Miss Agostini to guess what I did. so I feel like that's probably a much better thing, is like draw a picture and have your friends guess, right? Like, hey, what did you do? So does anybody want to guess what I did on my winter break?
Play basketball?
Playing basketball on vacation?
Not me, nope.
You gotta put
You
somebody
brought your
play
daughter to a
basketball while you
basketball
on
tournament
vacation.
where you also had a vacation. No, I just was that kid.
You were
at
on
points.
vacation. Oh,
I
yeah,
did.
you're traveling mom.
I
That
did.
makes
So
sense.
my daughter had a tournament in Daytona Beach, and we were
makes sense.
supposed to make it a family vacation. Unfortunately, I had to be her getting my mother-in-law passed away right before Christmas, so my family couldn't join. We canceled my daughter's flight though to fly home with her team, and so there was no flights to come home on New Year's Eve. So I had to drive down to Florida and go to the tournament in order to drive her home and bring her back from the tournament. So this was the view that I had in Daytona Beach, which was beautiful, lovely oceanfront room. It rained every single day that we were there, and so I sat in my room and read books by myself, which is not a bad thing sometimes. So, but I was just, and Miss Agostini, Katie, was like, you took Emma to play basketball, so she knew that. She's like, and you read your kid bedtime stories and wanted to be on a beach. That was all.
But that's a great way of also incorporating that into the classroom and having them guess, okay, what it was that you did just by what you put down as your drawing. All right, we're going to do another little activity here, and it's going to get kind of fun, okay? And we did a quick draw. Now we're going to do something called a quick write. We have to write? Yes, but you're going to see. This is going to get really fun, and I hope it doesn't get too dark. You'll see why. I'm giving you a list of topics. Now, with little kids, if you don't want them to do a whole bunch of writing, they can do, you can have them, just write a word that kind of fits. Now, this is a quick write, but it's a special kind of quick writing. And this is called a write around. And you're going to find out what this does. So, please listen carefully. Take 1 minute and find your topic. I'm starting my timer now. Find your topic.
Each of us?
Yep, find your own topic. You see that first one? I didn't mean to kill her.
But you did anyway.
All right?
Can we
I had a
change
really,
that
really cool
pronoun?
story with a group of teachers with that particular one. And it was like, wow. So, as you're picking your topic, this is how it's going to work. I'm going to let you write for 2 minutes. I'm going to tell you to stop. You're going to pass your paper to the right. And the next person is going to pick up on your story. I'll give them 1 minute to read, and then they're going to add on to your story. All right? Now, you want to talk about engagement? In classes, kids really go nuts with this. I've done it in language arts. I've done it in science. They go nuts with it. And then the best part is actually reading the stories at the end to figure out who did what, who said what, and where they took the story. Because oftentimes where it starts, it ends way, way, way over there somewhere. All right? So, everybody have their topic? Okay? We're gonna get 2 minutes and begin. Done all your writing.
That's funny.
All right? Now, please take a moment, go back and read over your story. See if your story went where you thought it was going to go. Okay? It began in this wonderful space, and then it went. And when you're ready, please give me a thumbs up.
It was all a problem. There were 3 of us. Were there 3 volleyballs?
No, just the one, just the one.
But 3 survivors made it to the other one. The
Oh,
other
man,
thing-
well, there was only, oh, nuts. I missed that part.
Cannibalism.
Those are the 2 guys.
Give me a thumbs up.
That time you eating coconuts? I ate those
Two
little
fellas
3. Those
that
little
started, I
2.
suppose.
We're waiting on a couple more.
I won't hyperkalemia because, social studies and facts and all that stuff.
All right. Bill, you ready?
What's that?
Are you
What
ready?
about it? Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, so multiple things I've been just kind of sticking in and put your thumbs down. I have been kind of weaving things in and out. Everything that we've been doing so far has been coming from a book called Total Participatory Techniques. I pulled 2 chapters out, chapters 4 and chapters 5. I Xeroxed them for you, so you're going to leave here with those today. You'll have them to be able to take with you. And it lays out a lot of these different activities inside there. So that thumbs up piece is something that we do as a, it's a signal to let us know that you're ready. Should you be working with your students and you have them in groups and you want them to be able to share out, I placed some cards on the table. All right, on one side of the card it says still thinking. It's right there, on orange paper, red over here, it's yellow over here, I think it's blue on that table. And on the other side I put ready to share. So what you can do as your students are working and they get ready, you don't always have to go over and be helicopter teacher. They can, when they're ready to share, they'll go ahead and they'll turn the card on either side. If we're still thinking, you can see that they're still thinking and you can go to another group and so it's the answers from that group. But then when they are ready, okay, now it's time, so go ahead and please turn your card. So when you have it on ready to share, it's time for us to go ahead and share out what it was that we've been working on. Now, I don't know about you, but I've been waiting for these stories, okay? So it's kind of like I'm always waiting to see what we get here. So I'll let you decide who's going to share from your tables. Now, but there's something else that I did with you all. I gave you the red cup. For a lot of the older grades, the red cup, what I do is I use that as a way to make sure I'm gathering student participation, because that's a lot of what we want to make sure that we're getting. So I put the red cup on. Take your cup and turn your cup right side up, please. All right? Now, there's a couple ways that we can use this, and I've used it lots of times. And this is just my little glass stones. They come from the dollar store. Sometimes I put a cup on the desk. When students answer questions for me, I drop a glass stone in there. And then, if they're doing an assignment, and should they get something wrong, and I know they've given a correct response, I can give them credit, because I can go and knock that out and give them credit for a response that they gave that was correct. Some people say, oh, I don't know if I would do that. No, I do it because that kid knew something about what it was that we were doing. They participated, so it's a way for me to be able to give that back to them, right? Another way that I use this, sometimes I'll pass out the stones, give everybody a stone, and as a student volunteers, I go and I collect it. So once they've given their stone back to me, you participated for the day, so when I see you don't have a stone, that lets me know who I can still call on in the room to solicit an answer from. Same thing with the cups. This is another way to do it. If you think you're going to play with it and keep slamming it around and stuff, I use something that's a little more quiet, all right? But when they have their cup, when I call on them to answer, all they do is turn the cup over. And now I know who's answered and who hasn't, okay? So this is how we're going to work this session right here, all right? So you're going to decide who's going to share, and then I'm probably going to let somebody from the table pick the next person, right? So we'll do it that way. And as you share out, you'll be able to flip your cup, and we'll see how many of these we can get through. Can I start back here with you?
Yeah. It says, I hadn't seen the door before. I hadn't seen the door before.
Thank you. Sorry. Go ahead.
It says, I hadn't seen the door before. It wasn't there last night. Cautiously, I turned the handle. Why am I turning the handle? Why am I entering this room? I was immediately filled with regret. I stepped into the room, and there was a pantry full of fresh foods. They were all ready to eat. A nice woman said, hello, help yourself to any of these choices and put on a Snuggie. Then sit on the couch to watch your favorite shows. You will stay here all winter and have more to eat whenever you need to. Wow, this is great. I've been so stressed out. Maybe I really need a break. I decided to take full advantage of this moment. I put on the Snuggie, grabbed my favorite food, and sat on the couch.
Thank you so very much. Can you flip your cup, please? Thank you. I'll let you call the next person.
I'm going to choose right here in the back.
Monica?
Me? No, thank you. Just after he died, he sat up. I looked at him with surprise and fear because I did not understand what was happening. When he saw my face, he looked around the room. It was empty. There were just him and me. A sinister smile crossed his face as he realized we were alone in the room, and I was frozen in fear. I tried to move, but my body had a mind of its own. All of my urges to get it to go went unheard. He knew that I had been the one who caused his death. He asked if I really wanted him to die or if it was an impulsive decision. I said I didn't need him alive, but if he walked away, I will not try to stop him from living again. That was good.
That was good.
All right. Flip your cup, please. And pick someone at another table.
Wandering through the graveyard, it felt like something was watching me. I could have sworn I was completely alone here. I made sure to check everything twice. But I couldn't shake this feeling that there was someone, something, here with me. There's something about being alone here that's creepy, but the opposite is even worse. I peeked around the closest tombstone, which was taller than me, and featured an angel that was more menacing than spiritual, and I gasped. I didn't know how to process what I was looking at. Huddled behind the tombstone was a child, no older than 5. It was hard to tell at first if the child was male or female, but it looked at me with eyes wide as saucers. I approached slowly, crouching to their level. The child seemed more scared of me than I did of them, so I decided to share my name and smile. They looked at me shyly and then decided to become my friend. I told them I didn't really want to have a 5-year-old BFF, but I'll help them find their home.
Oh, that was cool. Thank you. Flip your cup. All right, pick the next person, please.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I actually have the same prompt as her.
Oh,
So
okay.
we'll see how it diverges. As I walked through the graveyard, I knew something was watching me, and this suspicion was confirmed when a large squirrel jumped out and attacked me. Apparently, it was hungry and mistook me for a huge acorn. My family and friends have always thought I was nuts, but this is ridiculous. Either that or it had rabies. Turns out the squirrel wasn't rabid, but schizophrenic. The squirrel truly thought I was a giant acorn and tried to shove me into the trunk of a tree to store me for the winter. The squirrel had no clue I know, and I don't know what that is. Krav Maga, though.
I didn't get that part, that's hilarious.
Is that the end of it?
That's the end.
All right, turn your cup,
That's
please.
good. I
Turn
like
your
the
cup.
Krav Maga.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and pick our next person, please.
Everything stopped. People stood in line, stood like statues all around me. People in cars, men on bicycles, babies in prams, all like this, frozen in time. Why was I still able to move? Is there anyone else out there that can still move too? What is happening right now? I'm trying to yell, but my words won't come out. What in the world is going on? Wait, is that a squirrel roaming around? I say to myself, hey squirrel, come back. Squirrel completely ignored me and went to fetch a remote. Returning with TNT. I thought I was casting for click, not final destination. This is the last time I trust Jerry with making dinner. Every time I think we're going to try everything I think we're good, huh? Everything I think we're good, we're going to try a meal from him. The world turns upside down.
All right, thank you. Flip your cup. And I'll let you choose, pick one more person. And I did something different. I said I told you to turn and figure out at your table who was going to share, and then I just kind of flipped it mid-sentence, and just had you all pick, because you can do that same thing in your classroom. Okay? Pick us one more person, please.
Floral shirt?
Oh no. Sorry. The date was 13th July, my 345th birthday. It would be my last. That's how it works with our people. We have a bargain with the universe. We get 345 years, way longer than the average human lifespan. But in that time, we had to solve a major problem facing humanity. We were saviors, if you will, and we didn't make a difference. And if we didn't make a difference by year 345, we were doomed to oblivion. The problem was my time was ticking down, and I had a long way to go. I decided I would choose the problem of food insecurity. You see, for the past 200 years, I have been gathering vegetables from the community garden. The broccoli was especially huge. I gathered 1 million of my closest friends, and we passed out broccoli to the entirety of North America. It was an exhausting day. Now I did my deed, and I can finally chill out and do it in my garden. Tomorrow, I would do more, though. The deal we made was serious, and compared to my friends I've been coasting the last 345 years, I had to improve this planet. Even with my people and their hard work, the world still needed so much help.
Thank you so very much. Flip your cup.
Can I run to the bathroom?
Yes, ma'am. All right, so very, very quickly, I want you to think for about 15 seconds, how can you use this in your classroom? And I know I have all the different grade levels and different subject areas, but how can you use this in your classroom? Think about it.
And then by the end, they have a
The village is doing that.
Yeah, yeah, because sometimes like certain people take on bigger roles, which makes sense, but that was, I don't know.
It's hard with some kids
And it's fun.
make things up for history. Enough of that.
And pass the journal and like make it a little different. Yeah, and like funny jokes like this, and you know, like out of the box.
It's not common anymore. Like when I was a kid, it was right. It was 20 years after Pearl Harbor. So
Finish up your
it's
thoughts.
still very big in the public
Just
mind.
add something to it until we went all the way around the circle.
So two things I'm gonna do. I'm gonna first solicit your answers of what you thought about how you can incorporate this into your classroom. Okay, I'll do that first. I'll start over here.
Well, for us, it'll be very hard because our kids still don't write.
Okay.
So normally when we have an activity that considers writing, we just either just let them like do a shopping list, like grocery list, and they just kind of like scribble or try to write some letters.
Okay.
And then she said that for her class, she would have the same thing that you have, the same concept, but for her Spanish kids use something Spanish and work
prompts.
together.
Oh, okay. All right. Excellent. Thank you. Okay. All right. You Port of Entry. Okay. How old are your kids?
3.
3 years old. Do they understand sequencing? Like if you did pictures, like first, second, you know? So if because there's I'm trying to think of the site. It's like, don't do a great deal of work down there, but there's where you can have a story and it'll put it in the form of pictures and they have to be able to tell you which one goes first. So they're able to make sense of it, but they can actually make a story out of it. All right. Someone from this table here. Flip your cup, Miss Maggie. Please flip your cup.
Because now I'm in social studies, so it's a little hard to do creative writing with them when it's like, you know, I mean, I don't want them making stuff up for themselves when we have a fact that we need to learn, and it's also kind of hard to like lead from that with they have no context at all for social studies.
All right, so let me volley that back to you real quick. You threw it out here, so I'm gonna throw it back. Could you give them the topic and ask them to write what they know about the topic? Mm-hmm. Or could you give them time to go into a book and try to find things about that topic and then make bullet points and then they could share out? Because there's a couple different ways you can spin it to incorporate it.
Absolutely, giving them the book is that's a great call.
Okay.
They have textbooks they can use, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
So and you would have to build more time into it, but you could still take this and make something that they could wind up doing and then have them share out. So if you gave them a date and said, all right, what happened on this date? And they have to go in and research, because they can even use their laptops to do that. Okay, thank you. Flip your cup, sir. All right, over here, I heard yours. I definitely want to hear yours because I thought yours was a great idea. If you don't mind sharing.
Yeah, so I teach dance, so there's not a lot of writing like paragraphs like this, but I was thinking of in groups having them start the dance and then pass it on and the next person adds the next part and then the next part and then by the end we have a bunch of different group dances. And that could even be used to like give them a brain break in all of your other classes.
Yes, thank you. Love that, love that. All right, someone over here, please.
I teach preschool, so I was thinking of, instead of doing the writing portion, do a picture, and then they add on to the picture of what they think that the other person was trying to draw before them.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. What game is that?
Illustrations.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Great game. Great idea. Thank you. And back there, you want to add anything?
I thought maybe like for writing, because I'm kindergarten, to maybe do, if we're like in a circle, we could start just trying to less writing because we're at the stage where they don't love writing. Trying to create a story. Let's say let's create a group story and one person say something, the next person add to it until we go all the way around and like finish the story.
Excellent.
Just talking and adding a little bit each time.
So my goal in here, once I started hearing the different grade levels, was trying to flex this in such a way that everybody could take something away from the table. All right, so that's my goal, trying to make sure that everybody had something here. Overall, what's your thoughts on this activity? If you don't mind sharing out, if anybody wishes to share out, like, don't like, can take it, don't want to take it. Okay. Yes?
I remember doing this in high school and I liked it. And then I did it a couple of times with my students for 5th grade and 6th grade at times. and they actually like it. Well, they get like, oh, I need more time. I want to know what happens, and it's exciting for them, and it's good.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to jump in. So I know, and you all know, kids hate writing, right? How many of you like to write? Okay, not everybody, right? But how many of you, like, once you started writing and you got somebody else's paper, you're like, oh, what can I add to it? Like, you were vested, right? Like, you were engaged in what was happening. And then when you got your paper back, you're like, oh my God, what did somebody do, right? That's the excitement. And we're adults, right? Like, and I say that all the time. We're adults, and you were excited about what you just did, which, I mean, he literally told you to write. So, I mean, when we think about these things and we're like, oh, kids don't like to write, they don't unless you give them something to be excited about, right? Even for history, like, even coming up with like a conversation, say like, okay, here's a conversation prompt between two historical figures. I want you to have a conversation like Boston Tea Party, what happened, right? And have them work around that way. Like, you start the conversation, but that happens, and then somebody else has to like continue it. And I have to be honest with you, it's really less about it being right versus wrong, so much as that you're just getting them to write, right? Even with the math, like with the which one doesn't belong, it's really not so much like there's not a right answer. It's like which one is like makes sense, because even like the whole versus no whole, or like brown versus not brown, right? There's lots of answers, there's lots of options, and it's just getting them to start thinking, because we've lost the critical thinking piece of learning is where we're at right now. We've lost that critical thinking, so I just wanted to pipe that in there.
Thank you. Very much appreciated. All right. And as she said, it sparked so much. I watched a group of 8th graders. I had gotten pulled at one point in my position, like every now and again, if we were short a teacher, I've been pulled. So I got pulled in, and I had to teach Hunger Games. I had never read the book, had never watched the movie, and I said, man, I gotta read this. So I started reading it, and found out I wound up liking the book. But as I was doing this with the students, I had a list of prompts for the students to start writing with. And when I did this activity in the class, the times I said, we gotta stop. No, mister, can we have like 5 more minutes? I was like, they're begging me to write. And that too, it doesn't happen. But I can guarantee you, if you do this, you will see your students come to life for this, because they definitely want to see the story. And somebody, I don't write too well, my spelling's not good. I'm not worried about that. I'm not grading the spelling. I'm looking for your engagement and what you're going to do on the paper. But the stories that you get back, and I was very, very excited about what you were writing, because I'm just like watching the pens go to work here. So there is that excitement that it does create. And then you get to hear like the different take that the students have on the story. So, you know, just what are you going to do with the story? Where are you going to take it? The one from this particular page that got me was the last time we had done this workshop, somebody took the I didn't mean to kill her, and the stories that came off of that one, it was just, you know, it was just great. I should have kept it. But just really, really good. It's a nice way to get your students engaged. All right, just going to talk real quick. Another point, if you ever struggle with who to call on in your class, sometimes we used to have individuals that came in and they would observe a lesson and they would watch what was taking place, and then they would document different things about how many times you called on boys versus girls. Then they would even look at how many times you called on a minority student versus non-minority. So all those things, I think the group was Tessa, and I don't know if they're still around, but I do know that when your supervisors come in for an observation, they are looking at the level of engagement that you have with your students. They are going to be looking at questioning techniques that you have with your students. One thing I do to try to break up the monotony as far as calling kids, I just use popsicle sticks. It's something very simple, red and blue. If you want to make pink and blue, pink for the girls, blue for the boys, just grab a popsicle stick, and whichever end is the opposite end of the part that I grabbed, that's who I'm calling on. Sometimes what you can do is you can also, if you can put numbers in a cup, you know how many students you have in that class. So if you have like 15 students in that class, and you have 1 through 15 on little pieces of paper, you pull it. Wherever that kid is in your roster, that's who you call. What it does, it gives randomness to it, so you're not calling on that, because everybody knows, you know, can you plug your ears back there? You know, when observations happen, you got that one kid who's going to surefire give you that right answer every single time. You know, if I call on them, they're going to give me the right answer. But you know what? It's good to get that different answer sometimes, you know, from the kids, because you know where it is that they're thinking and how you need to guide the lesson and what you need to do to move forward from that point. But just another way to be able to give a little variety to who you're calling on. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I kind of had a question. What do you do with like a like a full lockup when they do that. I run into all the time like, no, I just don't know. I just don't know. I'm like, what's on your paper? They're like, nothing. There's nothing. Like they'll slip. They try to hide their
Okay,
answers.
so let me go into this piece here. So I do have a background in special ed. So when we are questioning students, oftentimes it's very, very crucial that we put in what we call wait time. And if you have a student that might be a little reluctant to answer, one thing that you can do is you can front load them or do what we call, it's like a little pre-teaching. You go to them, hey, question number 5. Can you start thinking about the answer for question number 5? Give it to them ahead of time. And then when you go around and you're starting to ask the questions or you're asking for answers, you've already let them have time to think on it so they're not like deer in the headlights on you. And even if you're working with some of our special ed students, they need that time. Sometimes they get nervous because they have to be able to formulate their answer. They might not be as quick as some of the other kids to come right off and fire an answer at you. But if you give them the question ahead of time, it gives them a little think time to try to prepare something so they can go ahead and participate. Yes, ma'am.
Something that I've used in the past, I laminated cards that just had like numbers 1 to 20 on them, and as kids came in the door, I would give them a card. And then when they were sitting there, and they started to like figure it out, but just because they had it didn't mean it was for those special ed kids. Like I would say, oh, so-and-so, like I would walk by and stuff, like hit number 5, so when I would get to them, by giving everybody one, it also doesn't like single them out, right? And again, the kids can start to think about what's coming out. There's an argument that then they're only paying attention to that question, but again, like, it's one of those like fine lines, like you know the kids that are gonna need that support, and if you don't wanna single them out, you can give just a laminated card to everyone and say, I'm going to randomly call on people, these are for something else, or however you wanna like do that.
All right, so another way we can actually work on that, and see, you're doing, what, you said history?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you can do facts, and then what I gave, I just passed them out real quick, just 2 sets. I have A, B, C, D cards, multiple choice cards. So you can just take and make these up, and you can put them in a group of students, and you can ask them questions. If it's multiple choice, even if the kid doesn't want to talk, they can just hold up the letter of what they think it is. All right, it's a way to get them engaged. The second one that I have are what's called true, not true. So you can give out facts, and this is just an index card right on with a marker. Pass them out to the different groups, and when you're asking a question, which one is it, true, not true? And all they do is hold up a response. You can make enough for each kid in the class, or you can make them where you have the kids sitting in groups, and you can do it that way. Now, why is he holding a spoon? Because for some of the younger grades, when you want to get kids to talk and you have a lot of kids that are trying to give that answer out, this is a talking spoon. You only get to talk when you hold the spoon. And if you're doing circle time, guess what? Then you'll pass the spoon around in a circle. So the spoon is like the magic microphone. You only talk when you're holding the spoon. All right? It also works with some of the bigger kids. So if you have them, if they have to share out in class, you can take it, and then once they share out, give the spoon to whomever you wish. And then this is when the kids say, yeah, I like to play paybacks here. You get the spoon, all right? So it's just another way for you to be able to get them engaged in the lesson and get them more engaged in the learning, all right?
Did he offer you more than one?
He gave you one piece at the time.
He gave one piece at a time, right? Like instead of saying like you want to do this and this, right? Like again, you're differentiating that, right? Like some kids are going to get it with just one, like clue. Some need 2. Some are going to need 3, right? So you want to make sure that you're being aware of that. Other thing, and this is just in general, he is circulated all day, correct? Has anyone seen him sit? Nope. Right? I will tell you there was like something that Miss Agostini had done a few weeks ago. Do you want to tell them about your and Miss Terry's like observations of things with the sitting versus standing?
Oh, yes. We went around and we saw like, I think that good instruction, you need to be standing, you need to be circulating your classroom, and you need to be visible to your students. Like a lot of times, like if Brody was messing around and I just came over here and stood next to Brody, what's he gonna do? He's gonna stop and he's gonna do what he's supposed to. I don't even have to say anything to him, right? So it's so important like that. I think that we're up and we're moving. So, we went around and we like took note of how many teachers were, and this wasn't like a Friday at 2:20 p.m. This was like on like a Wednesday at midday. How many teachers were sitting at their desks versus how many teachers were up and standing? And typically a lot of the teachers that were sitting at their desks, could benefit from getting up and moving around. But just something we noticed.
And do you remember what percent it was, like how many? I would say it was like 59%, 60%.
I want to say it was like 64% were sitting at their desk versus being up and moving around the classroom.
Right, so here's the reason we say that. You guys are new teachers, right? Don't fall prey to your peers who are like, oh, it's okay. It's okay for you to sit down and do that. I do it all the time, right? In instruction, one of the things that we want to stress to you is that it matters, right? I had a desk when I taught for 21 years. I don't think I ever sat at my desk. I had like a big lab table. I might have stood and like graded real quick while they were doing something, like real quick, something, go walk around, circulate, anybody need help, whatever, come back, do some things real quick. Just your presence sometimes. I know when I do observations, sometimes teachers like, especially math centers or language arts centers, people really struggle with that because you're one person and you're working with a group, right? But there's like things happening in the room. And I always tell the teacher, just stand up, right? Like I'm not saying stand up the whole time, like sit at small groups, do some work real quick. They're doing independent work, you stand up, walk around, make sure kids are doing what they should be doing, come back to your group and go over independent work. That locale and like positioning of where you are in the room is so important. No matter what grade, that is like an across the board thing. Even for the little guys, like if they're playing, like I know they do learning through play, right? Like with your centers and things like that. Even if you're doing that, you should be up and circulating and walking around. It's okay to sit and work with somebody like independently, but be aware of time, right? Like 2 minutes is all you should do. If they need more than 2 minutes worth of your time as you're walking around, then you need to pull them at another point in time, right? So just keeping things like that in mind. And my biggest thing is, again, I know your peers will be like, oh, it's okay, just sit down. Like, no, it's no big deal. It is a big deal for the instruction. It's a huge deal. I know for dance you're not sitting, but but again, like that circulating, that movement, it's important to the kids. It's important for them to recognize. Like I will go into classrooms for observations. If you ever have me, I don't think I have any of you on my list this year, but I literally, like I'm on the floor. Like if kids are doing things on the floor, I'm on the floor. If they're dancing, I'm dancing to see what they're doing. I'm involved in what's going on. That's what you want someone to come in and do. You don't want someone to come and sit at a desk and watch you. Right? They should be, don't be afraid to be like, oh, they're working on this. Do you want to like take a look at what they're doing? Have them get up, have them move around. That's what they're there for. They should be looking at what the kids are doing. So.
Okay. All right, so that major thing that they were talking about is called proximity control, right? That's it, it's proximity control. It is major to do that when you're in the classroom. As she said, just stand up. In the class, I don't think I sit. I probably don't sit until the very, very end of the day. I have a desk, but I'm never sitting at it unless I have to sit down and do something on the computer, and then I'm popping right back up. But the students, they can calculate how long it takes you to come across a room to get to them. They know how much time it's going to take, and if they're on their laptops, might be on something they're not supposed to be on, they know how long it takes before they can click that box and before you get there and then get the other screen back up. But if you're constantly walking around, like my kids, they never know which direction I'm going to turn, which aisle I'm going to walk down, but it kind of keeps them on edge, but in a good way, right? And then there's another thing that we call, and I don't know if there's an actual definition for it, there's a word I've always used called withedness. Withedness means I know what the heck is going on in my room at all times. I'm always glancing, and when I taught science, I had a mirror up on the corner of my board. So if I had my back to the students, all I did was look in my mirror, and that mirror gave me full shot of the whole room. So if I saw a kid doing something, I'm like, so-and-so don't do something. They're like, how did you see me? Didn't your parents tell you they got eyes in the back of their head? I never had eyes in the back of my head, but any reflective surface I would look to so I could see what was going on if I ever had to turn my back. So knowing what's going on around the room, like kids will do something, even I could tell, I got a kid wearing glasses, and the kid is looking down. I see something reflecting in their glasses, and that's so put that away. And they're like, how did you know? I can see it through your glasses. Like, but how did you know? Well, because I know what I'm looking at. I see something reflecting off your glasses, and it doesn't look like something you're supposed to be on. It looks like your phone. Is it your phone? And yeah, well, okay, we'll put it away before I have to come and take it. You know, so just knowing what's taking place at all times. Even knowing when your students are having that kind of beefy day where they come in and their little attitude's a little, you know. You have to know that too, because if you don't address it, and there are several ways to address it. If you don't address it, it can wind up causing more problems in your class. So you want those things to kind of be stopping, like, so-and-so, come here, you look like you're a little off today, is everything okay? Do you need to go see a counselor? Do you need to go to the bathroom? You know, I always give my kids an out. I have always done it. If there was something wrong with them and they came in kind of, this is my first time seeing you seem a little upset, you need to go to the bathroom for a few minutes? 3 minutes. And then come on back. I give them a chance to reset. And it's only fair because I don't know what happened to them before they got to me. And if I had them first thing in the morning, I don't know what happened before they came in. So I want them to be able to have time to reset themselves before I have to intervene. All right? I have 2 more things that I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to try to wrap it up. And these go on the computer. So this is something that all of you will be able to use. I don't know if you all use quizzes yet. My upper grades, do you use quizzes?
I've seen it.
Right. So you can go in and put your own material in, create your own quizzes game. All right? I didn't load that one up. Did you just pull it up? Yep, there it is. So you can go in and you can put, all of you, I think they have it inside your Clever, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right, so if you go in there, you can create your own test. Multiple choice, fill in the blank, and when you put the kids in, you're talking about high engagement, they use their laptop, they go to joinmyquiz.com, and then they give a code. Once they put in the code, they come into your game. They play the game, you can monitor how fast it goes, and then after you wind up doing that, it grades it for you. So if you need to pull a grade off of it, you can actually pull a grade from it. Okay?
Right here.
Yep, that's it right there.
This is very clever, this one.
All right, so in your Clever portal, that's it right there. And I'm going to use it for school. And guess what? If you don't want to create content, you can go into their search bar and type in what it is that you want to use. And then all these different quizzes, they'll come up that teachers have already created for you that you can use. Okay? Okay. Have you used it before? Yes. All right, it says, what are you teaching? So you can go in and type in whatever you wish.
Holocaust.
What'd you say?
Holocaust.
Holocaust.
With capital H.
That's okay, it's gonna pull them up.
Yeah.
Might say it has vocabulary laws,
Cool.
all different levels, and Frank, it's just think.
Oh, mouse, that's good.
Okay. Oh, you said mouse?
Mouse is a little difficult to read because the text is small. It's a
Okay.
graphic narrative.
Yep.
Holocaust survivor, his dad's experience with the Holocaust and his experience growing up.
Yep. It
But
made the
it's
band
really good, but
books.
it's difficult for kids to read because the text is very dense with the
Okay.
pictures.
All right.
But it is a very good book.
Yeah. Okay, so what they have here, so what you see right there are different quizzes, games that they have made that refer back to this. So you can go down and you can view any of them and decide if you want to use it. If you want to use it, you just click on it and then it'll open it up and then it's teacher-led and then you can monitor how fast they go through the questions.
Nice.
Just make sure you preview your
Yeah,
questions.
yeah, make sure you preview
before
the
you
questions
go
ahead of
to
time,
class.
okay?
Yep, you can also save it or make a copy and like tweak it to be your own, right? Like don't reinvent the wheel, use what's there.
Okay?
Is it only for upper grades?
No, lower grades, you can use it too, yeah. No, it's there for
I
you.
just chose that as a,
Give me something lower grades.
Cause and effect.
Why did you say preview? What, something happened?
Because sometimes just you just got to make sure the language is correct, or make sure that it's not too far over their head, or just make sure that it's something that falls in line with curriculum.
So like this one pulled up 3rd grade, that's just because that's what I had put in as like my pre-selection, but you could type cause and effect, like 1st grade.
Yeah, there's a 2nd grade one right there.
Yep.
That's cool, okay.
Okay? Now, and these, they're really, really cool to do with the kids, and they can do them on their laptop. So are they engaged? Yes, because they'll be in there trying to be the first one to answer. They get points and rankings, and it just pulls them in. But it's a great tool to use. All right?
Do they have this on iPads too, like on their, does it have
I-
it on their iPads?
They can,
Yeah, because you can use
I
quizzes
think
on
so.
iPads.
Yeah, I'm almost certain they do.
Okay.
Yes. All right, but there's one other one. Miss Tally, I had one more open up. Can you go to WordWall for me, please? Okay, so for my lower grades, write this down, wordwall.net. So WordWall, and then what you do, whatever you want. This thing has so many items in here. So you go wordwall.net space whatever skill you wish. And when you type that in, this here winds up giving us a bunch of different games that we can play, different grade levels and everything. And they can do them touch screen. So if you have a touch screen in your classroom, you can bring this up. If they're having carpet time weather for the little kids, they can come up and then they can actually touch and do answers. That right there's a, oh gosh, it's a 10, what's that thing called? 10 frame, there it is, there you go. 10 frame, but then it'll show some games it'll show a picture. Mr. Talley, can you click on the one with the apple? I think that one's gonna be number recognition, counting, cardinality. So what it'll do, it'll bring a, hit start please. It'll bring a shape across, I believe it's gonna bring something across and you have to click on what number it is. So this is for little kids. So they have to count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, click on 8. All right, and that's the correct one. But it's just a nice way for kids to be able to do number recognition. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10. All right, 2. All right, now, fear not, because it doesn't just have to be lower level like this. All right, you can actually go up and you can do mathematical equations and things like that. So whatever skill you want them to work on, you can do one-step equations, two-step equations, multiplying fractions, whatever skill you're working on. All you have to do is type it in there, and it will give it to you. Okay. Now guess what? It's not just math. It does language arts as well. Even if you want to do social studies, you can type that in, and it'll give you things on that as well. There are all kinds of things inside here that you can do with your students. I use this quite a bit. If I'm going into a class, I use it sometimes to open a lesson. I use it also to do a review of a skill. So it's something where the kids can come on up and they'll pass the spoon to one another, come up, you know, put in the correct answer, and then retreat back to their seats. Sometimes if I'm working with grades 4 and 5, if we're doing multiplication, I'll say boys on this side, girls on this side, and then we'll run 2 lines. They have to go up and select the correct answer. So it's one way to really, really engage the kids. The kids love playing it, but they're learning at the same time while they're doing it. Okay? So it is for language arts, social studies. You can type in any of these different subjects, and it will give you something to do for them. All right? It is free. Yep, it is free. Yeah, everything I gave you in there today is free $99.
If you wanted to, but if you look here, he's not even logged in. So.
All right. Okie dokie, so we did that, all right? On your tables, I put down, I'm shifting gears once again, I put down for you 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teachers. It's a quick read, it's like 3 pages long. If you don't mind, please take a read of that, that's for you. I'm also going to give to you, Ms. Kim, did I give you this? Did I give you this? Thank you, all right. Now, 2 other things, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to park myself. If you don't have fancy whiteboards, right, I just bought sheet protectors and put color paper, all right? They're easy. If one gets damaged, you can just chuck it. I get them like by the 50 pack at Walmart or at Target, but it's a nice way if you want kids. So what you'll do is you might ask a question, have them write a response, hold it up. Now, I'll tell you what this does. It serves 2 purposes. One, it's allowing you to see what it is that they know, but it's also what we call a formative assessment. That formative assessment is a way for you to find out whether the kids know it, don't know it. Say you have a class of 20 kids, and in that class you put out a problem where you put out a question, you ask them to write the answer. 15 of the kids got it right, 5 of the kids didn't. Which group of kids do we need to work with? The 5 who didn't get it, okay? So you know that there's something going on there, but it was a very, very quick way for you to assess who has it, who doesn't, all right? So it works in math, it'll also work in language arts, but you don't have to break the bank for these kinds of things here. So you say, oh, well, we didn't have whiteboards, you know, $3, $4. Yes, sir.
You can get like a 200 pack of those for what on Amazon for what you get at Walmart, just so you know.
Oh, okay.
Just for everybody in here.
I'm gonna tell you something. Me and my old self, I don't even play with Amazon. People tell me I need to get with the times. Maybe I do. I'm just like,
Really?
But yeah, I don't touch that thing, man. It's not that. You know what? I probably could. I probably
No, I'm saying
could.
you save money not being on.
Oh, by not being on?
How much
Oh.
random stuff
Well, if you can buy random stuff, I don't buy random stuff.
Okay.
I always
Let me
do
see.
with the purpose.
Whiteboards. All right. 2 other things I need to. No, yeah, 2 things to hand you. All right. So I did tell you that everything we did today was called total participatory techniques. So here in these packets, it has what's called on-the-spot TPTs. So these are total participatory techniques. This is chapter 4 out of the book. So you're going to get chapter 4 and chapter 5. And it tells you all the stuff that we did today, say, let me see, a couple of them I didn't do. I didn't do similes, I didn't do ranking, I didn't do numbered heads. Everything else we pretty much covered, all right? But this is for you, all right? You didn't have to buy the book. You're welcome. And then I have chapter 5 for you as well. 1, 2, 3.
I'm not sure.
In chapter 5, this one covers the hold up, so that's the little cards that I made. You're welcome. 1, 2, 3. I made enough. If not, I might have to make another couple copies. 1, 2, 3. 4. Can I bother you?
Yep.
Did you make me one?
So I like the cup a lot. I can also hear it before I would even bring it out. So then I'm thinking, if I have 20 classes and I travel in the building, what are things I can do that are like similar? Because I do notice like I maybe didn't get to this part of the room, but I'm also like, I'm always in someone else's speed.
Okay. So
So you can use smaller cups, like bathroom cups would be like, and they're not made of plastic, so they won't make as much noise, and they're smaller for you to travel from place to place.
Mhm.
Okay.
So are you on a cart and you push in?
I do push in. I don't always bring a cart because I do like different things.
Okay. So if you haven't developed one yet, I have what I call my teacher bag. And my teacher bag just has some of everything in it. So if I'm going to a school, because I'm in 7 different schools, I have whiteboards, markers, glass stones, cups, pencils, everything that I need. That's not even the right bag. Yeah, that's my little, yeah.
I know it's not,
Yeah.
but this is literally like something that he carries with him, and it has everything in it.
Yeah.
Right, like he literally right now in here has all kinds of things that he like might possibly use.
I do have a big bag like that.
Yeah.
I operate with.
So I have one that I got from IKEA, the big IKEA bags. If I'm going to go do a presentation like this, sometimes I'll throw everything in there because I can carry everything in that one bag, but it's easier for me to lug my stuff around and I'm going to the rooms. But I usually carry everything that I'm going to use with me. Oftentimes what I get too is every time I go into the class, I got to build a rapport because I'm over grade 6, 7, and 8. So when I'm going into all these, and that's for math and science. So when I'm going into these classrooms, I'm meeting all these kids. So I'm always trying to build rapport. So I'm doing some kind of activity so I can get to know these kids because it's probably well over 1,000 kids that I'm dealing with. And like, mister, you remember me? No, you got to tell me your name again. I told you last 2 times. Yeah, but I still don't remember. All right, but it's just a thing that you'll have to do, but you'll learn. If you have your own class, it's easier, but if you are doing the push-in, you just kind of got to have that thing, like everything that I need, just to travel with you, yeah.
And I will say one of the biggest takeaways, like for Mr. Denby, like for things like this, is he's organized, right? So like everything has its place, like, so you're not just like throwing it into your bag and like, oh, I'll get to it next time, because you know you will never get to it and you'll have dice sitting in the bottom of your bag for forever, right? So like, again, like trying to maintain that like organization with like the zip pouches and containers, things like that will be helpful.
All right. Any other questions? You got me while I'm here. Yes, ma'am.
So I love all the games. I love all the activities. How often in a class period are you using these? Like, would you start your class with them and then go into a lesson? Are you making this the lesson? Like, how do you incorporate it in a week?
That is excellent. So if I'm going in and I'm doing math, I will usually start with either what doesn't belong, I might do a word wall, or I might open with a shut the box. Those are the 3 things that I'll normally do. If I'm going in for science, if it lends itself, depending on what the lesson is, I might go in and I might do something what they call phenomenon. So right now, 6th grade is working on magnets and forces. So I have ring magnets. So I'm walking around with a pencil and I got magnets floating on my pencil and I'm walking around, just, yo, look at that, huh? And then they see it on the screen. So I said, why do you think it's doing that? They say, Mister, you're doing magic. No, I'm not doing magic. Well, how do you make them float? Well, we're going to figure out how they float. But it makes them a little bit inquisitive. But the frequency of how often I do it, it just depends on the class and what it is that they're working on. If I have a group that's working on two-step equations and things, I might go in and throw up an equation on the board and have the kids work it out on whiteboards and then share out, pass the spoon, not pass the spoon, or sometimes, so pick somebody to answer. And I also have the kids, just like we did the write around, have a kid come up, take the marker, you go and do the first part of the problem, give the marker to somebody else, you pick up where he left off, you do the next part, and have the kids work through things that way. So it's a lot of different ways to incorporate it. You just kind of have to figure out where you want to put it and how it's going to work for you, and it'll definitely work out.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay?
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I would like to chime and say, if you notice they're antsy, have one of these in your back pocket, just pull it out real quick, right? Take the 5 minutes, like let them have the break that they need, and then jump back in and what you're trying to do. Because no matter how hard you push, if they're not into it, they're not paying attention anyway. So give them that quick break, jump back in. I would say like once a class is okay. Like anything more than that, like they need to, it's behavior. Focus on something else.
All right. There was one other thing I was going on that far. I was trying to hold it, and it just went. I normally am working with grades 6, 7, and 8. However, if you were to reach out to me and say, hey, I'm trying to do this, I'll figure out some kind of way to get to you. If you email me, I'll figure out some kind of way to get to you to try to add something, if you wish, or you say, how, I want to do this. How do I make that happen? I'm open to doing that. I don't have an issue with it. If you're at the high school, I don't get over there as much, but if you call, I will come. We'll figure out how to make it work in the schedule. But we're here to serve you. We want you to have a wonderful experience with your teaching here. This has been the best thing I have done. I still enjoy it after all these years. You get some days where things are this way or that, but at the end of the day, I'm still doing a great work and I'm still loving what it is that I do. And if we can help you to where you're loving what it is that you do, you'll stay in the game longer, you'll get more joy out of doing what you're doing, and you will actually find yourself working harder to make sure you can get through to these kids. All right? That being said, thank you for having me this morning. And, look forward to working with you.